Morning, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Testing, testing. We'll get started here shortly, guys. Just doing a quick audio check. How's everyone doing today? Morning, good morning. Morning, everyone. I went to the doctor. I got some antibiotics, so I'm going to be on that for a while. Turns out I have an ear infection, which I guess went to my throat somehow. And I'm going to be on antibiotics for 10 freaking days, man. You can't make this up. 10 days. But I am already starting to feel a little bit better. But 10 days is tough. We'll get started here shortly, guys. DFNS, trying to squeeze up. Yeah, the doctor said I had like an ear infection. And I was like, how the hell did I get an ear infection? He's like, I don't know, you tell me. And I was like, I don't know. Yeah, some probiotics, good call. So we'll get started here shortly, guys.
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, hear you, bro. How are you?
Perfect. Awesome.
How's it going?
Did I hear you say you had an ear infection?
Yep, that's what it sounds like. Which I don't know how the hell that happened.
Wow.
So I guess he said like some of the bacteria from the
Right.
ear could have gone to like my throat. I don't know. But the antibiotic is supposed to help with both.
Great. Well, at least they identified it.
Yeah.
Or you did.
We'll get started here in a few minutes, guys. It was actually really funny, man. He was looking at one of my ears. He was looking at my left one. He's like, wow, your ear's pretty clean. You should be happy about that. I was like, oh, thanks, doc. And he looks at the other one. He's like, oh, no. And I was like, shit. And that's when he saw the, I guess, bacteria in the ear or whatever the hell he saw.
So that's been the problem all along.
I guess so.
Wow. Well, good thing you went.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So we'll get started here. A few more minutes, guys. Let's get started here. So good morning, everyone. Welcome back to live trading. If this is your first time on live trading, welcome. We are using the webinars channel in Slack to communicate. We are not using the Zoom chat. As you guys know, we stream the first 30 minutes on YouTube every single day, talking about what's working in the market, what's not. We build a watch list. And at 9:30 a.m., we cut off the stream and reserve that for MIC members only. I've been streaming live for years now. Every single win, every single loss is all streamed here. Kind of on a little bit of a 2-day losing streak here. So lost, let me actually pull this up. Lost about 300 bucks yesterday. Lost about $3,000 the day before that. Still up around 40 grand for the month, which is not too bad considering, how crazy the market has been. Overall, my biggest problem, at least yesterday, was lack of patience. So I was pretty much watching this SanDisk for a bounce. And SanDisk did pretty well. I got out, I kind of chopped around all day. Had I been a little bit more patient, sure, I could have made some more money on it. But the Tesla long TSLL, it ended up squeezing midday. Had I been around a little bit longer, I'm sure it would have worked out. But, I'm just trying to stick to my process. My process tells me that I have to walk away at 10:30. My process tells me if I start to feel frustrated, I need to stop. And last 2 days have been pretty damn frustrating. I've been sick as well, which isn't helping. Finally went to the doctor and found out that I have an ear infection. So I'm going to be on antibiotics for 10 days, which sucks. But at least we identified what it is. At least it's something that I could, fix, and it is what it is. So that's kind of where I'm at with trading. Goal is same thing today is I want to show you the wins and the losses. I don't win every single day clearly. I maintain about a 75% win rate, which actually, if you look at, my P&Ls, throughout the months, I pretty much regularly maintain that, 2 or 3 red days a month. There's been some months where, I have not a single red day, but that's few and far between. I probably average about 2 or 3 red days a month, which is standard, normal. The goal is just to kind of keep it controlled, and that's what I try to do. So I don't think I'm the best trader. I definitely don't think I'm, a crazy trader, but this is what real trading is. Some days you're green, some days you're red. As long as you're green more than you're red, you're doing better than 90% of the people. So even with my losses this month, I'm still green. So that's all I kind of care about. I stopped judging myself based on every day. I stopped judging myself based on every week. I kind of judge myself based on every month, because the reality is it's very tough to, win every day. And if you're setting an unrealistic standard for your own trading, you're just bound to get pissed off, So I want to make sure that I have a realistic standard, which is just sticking to the process. As long as I'm green at the end of the month, that's kind of all I'm, concerned about and care about. So that's that. Additionally, a couple questions came in about brokers and what to use and all that stuff. And I think it's really important to make sure to understand that MIC has 3 recommended brokers. We recommend Cobra, we recommend Zimtra, and we recommend Big Trades. We do not recommend any other broker. So if you see any other trader in MIC using a different broker, if you hear about any other brokers that are out there, use them at your own risk, guys. A lot of these brokers, may seem attractive, but the reality is that you probably won't get your money out of them. I've wired out $500,000 at a time at a Cobra and got the money at 4 p.m. So you could use whatever broker you want, but we recommend 3 brokers here. If one of the brokers that you want to use is not on the recommended list, use it at your own risk. We recently had one of our members use a broker called Ocean or Ocean Securities. I'm not trying to call them out specifically, but they can't get their money out of there, dude. And, when you think about it, why the hell would you use a broker that, we don't even recommend? So use it at your own risk. If you don't really care about getting your money out on your own accord, that's on you, but I care about that. So I would only use the brokers that we recommend. So that's kind of number one. Number two is kind of understanding our thought process here. So my goal every single day is to trade the absolute best setups and ignore the rest. I don't want to trade every single stock that's moving. I don't want to try to be a hero or jack of all trades. I just want to be the master of one. So every single day that we show up to the market, I'm just looking for the best possible opportunity, and that's where I want to join. Sometimes the opportunity is great, sometimes the opportunity is bad, but at the end of the day, as long as I'm sticking to the right setup, the right opportunity, I can't really get pissed off about it. So coming into today, a couple things to make note of is today is the Federal Reserve rate hike decision. So at 2 p.m., the Fed is going to either drop rates, raise rates, or keep them neutral. The assumption is that they're going to kind of keep it neutral. If they raise rates, it's going to cause pretty big damage to the market, in my opinion. Also, today is multiple large cap earnings. I think it's Microsoft, it's Meta, I think a bunch of other names as well. So as I've been saying for the last couple days, the earnings numbers on these companies do not matter right now. All that matters is their capital expenditure, what they are spending on AI, right? The more they spend on AI, the price of the stock goes down because investors are fearful that they're not going to get enough of a return on their investment, So for me, I assume it's more short-term pain, long-term gain. And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm thinking for large caps. Additionally, we had the SKHY, SKHY. SKHY. So I had the SKHY earnings that came out yesterday. We washed out dramatically. If you look at all the memory names, they washed out dramatically as well, only to recover all the way back. What you have to understand about the bottoming action is most of the time stocks bottom on bad news. So when there's no more bad news left to come out, that's kind of when the stocks bottom. So that's kind of the main thing to understand is I think that now that we had this major panic on SK Hynix, now that we had SanDisk and Micron both kind of failing and coming back, I think that we might have a short-term bottom on these memory names. So I'll definitely be looking for continued bounce on the memory names. Additionally, same thing as I've been saying on this Tesla. I think we are due for a bounce coming soon. It might be today. Depends on what SpaceX is going to do as well. These things kind of move in a pair. So yeah, a lot of opportunities, whether it be in large caps, whether it be in small caps, whatever vehicle you're trading, there's opportunities. DFNS just continues to squeeze. Today is day 3 of the squeeze. Chances are that this is probably getting close to a short-term top. But I've kind of stayed away from these mega risky names lately because I just don't want the stress anymore. What's the saying? You don't want the smoke. Man, I don't want the smoke anymore, dude. When I was younger and more youthful and didn't have white hairs, I would want the smoke. But I just don't want it anymore, dude. I'm getting old. I'm getting stressed. I got a fucking ear infection. So I'm not trying to go to war today. I'll go to war a different day. But, a lot of these stocks are, a lot more risk than reward. Right. So although it looks sexy, although it looks like there's an opportunity, it just seems like there's a little bit more risk there because I'd rather focus on, easier setups that are broken, stocks that are broken, and just take it from there. So that's my overall thoughts coming in today. Fed rate hike decision, large cap earnings, small caps continue to trap. Additionally, something to kind of make note of here as well is the overall market, S&P 500 and NASDAQ have just kind of been straight down lately. It's just lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, which kind of sucks out the excitement out of a lot of stocks. So I do believe that if we do start to get some sort of sustained pullback, sustained push up, that we might see a lot of momentum in, the small cap stocks as people will be excited again. Because what you have to remember, guys, is these small cap stocks are just lottery tickets. People are buying lottery tickets, and it's a lot easier to be buying lottery tickets when your investment portfolio is up on the day and you want to gamble with some of that money, right? But if the investment portfolio is down and the market's down, you're going to probably be a little bit more risk averse. So I'll kind of keep that in mind coming into the markets for today and the rest of the week. Is be very careful, because if we start to get a little bit of a bounce on the overall indexes in the market, we might see some bounces in small cap names as well. So that being said, let's get started with the watch list. So the way that we build a watch list, we always go to the previous day's watch list first. Why do we go to the previous day's watch list? It's because we don't want to miss the plays that were happening yesterday. So let's start with yesterday's watch list. ENTX. ENTX just low volume yesterday. Came back down, but nothing to really make note of. BIYA. BIYA kind of pushed up and failed. This has just been nonstop traps, in my opinion. It's just been nonstop. This is now approaching day 3, but it's just been trap and trap and trap and trap. So probably not really interested in this. I just don't feel like there's much of a high probability or high edge on it. So that's kind of what I want to make note of, is just because the stock is moving, like you look at this price action, it pops up, it washes out like $3 and then comes back and goes higher. How the hell is this price action that I want to trade? If it washes out like this, it should never come back, right? So that's what you have to remember, guys, is just because the stock is moving does not mean that you need to be trading it. This BIYA is just looking a little bit too dangerous for me. And why does it look dangerous? Because of this major washout and major reclaim. Can it go down? Yeah, I mean, stocks could do anything that they want. But do I think that it's advantageous to me? Probably not. So moving on. INLF, another pretty major squeezer yesterday. Squeezed up, kind of came back down. The difference between INLF and BIYA, if you look at what is BIYA? If you look at INLF and BIYA, I mean, the reality is that both of these stocks are pretty damn risky. But you can see, look at the difference. INLF had that major push, that major fail, and didn't come back. Versus BIYA, that had the major push, failed, and came back, right? Look at the difference. This BIYA washed out and came back. INLF washed out and didn't come back. That might be a good enough of a reason to at least try some near the red to green rejection. So INLF, I would look to kind of short this towards that red to green rejection if that opportunity comes. INLF, looking to short this on a red to green rejection. Tesla, TSLL, like I mentioned, earlier, I think that Tesla is long overdue for a bounce. Started to get, 4 days red in a row, essentially. And today it's trying to go green and hold green. So my thought process on this Tesla is you can see pretty damn clearly, guys. Pretty damn clearly, clear as day actually, is 310 area. You see it's 310, 1, 2, 3, 4, 310. So my thought process on this Tesla would be look to go long on a reclaim of green and scale in more aggressively if 310 breaks out. Does that make sense? So TSLA, 310 major resistance. This stock has been red 4 days in a row. It's looking to potentially go green today. So looking for a potential long if green holds, and scaling into the winner if we break out over 310. Give me a second here, guys. Sorry, what's next? SanDisk. So I think that SKHY actually bottomed the memory names. What you have to remember is that a lot of stocks bottom on bad news. It's like, the thing is, and a lot of stocks top on good news actually. And why is that? Why the hell does that happen? I thought good news is supposed to send the stock higher. Well, the reality is, once all of the good news is out, technically, there's no more essential pumps to pump up these stocks higher. Once the bad news is out, there's essentially no more bad news to keep the stocks down. So I think that SKHY kind of bottoming out on their earnings, SKHY, bottoming out on their earnings. If this SKHY goes green, watch Micron and SanDisk to go green as well. SKHY, oftentimes, bad news bottoms stocks. Watch for this to go green. And if it does, we can look for a long on SanDisk and Micron. Next is VIVK. Multi-day, kind of just not really been dying. Still holding up pretty damn strong. So VIVK, pretty strong. Price action today. Non-stop grinding. So mostly ignoring short. And then we got NCRA. I mean, probably ignore until it breaks under 3. Ignore until it breaks under 3. And that's going to be my watch list for today. So there's plenty of stocks moving today. There's plenty of action today, which is great. Let's see, a couple other stocks. GMM. What's this GMM? GMM just kind of looks like a little bit lower volume. So we could kind of keep it on side radar. So I'll just put GMM side radar. And then EGG. EGG just flatline consolidation. So not really doing anything there. So pretty much just flatlining, so nothing there. So probably I would say, top watches this morning remain, probably Tesla's and the memory names on a bounce. Also, you guys, something to kind of remember is Fed rate hike decision is at 2 p.m. So a lot of stocks may be choppy until 2 p.m. And after 2 p.m. kind of pick their direction. So keep that in mind as well. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like I said, I've been kind of red 2 days in a row. I don't, I'm not trying to tell anyone that I'm, the best trader in the world. I have made $16 million trading. So there's something like that. But the reality is I have red days. I lose money from time to time. I am not perfect. And the more I could demonstrate to you guys the reality of a trader, the more you guys will kind of not doubt yourselves either. I don't know if I put DFNS on the watch list, but DFNS, pure ignore. DFNS, pure ignore, short side. I'll just make that very, very clear. I'm not really interested in that. So I'll put that in the watch list as well. But yeah, my main thought process is this SKHY goes green. Memory names will go green with it for a long opportunity. VIVK kind of seems like that main mover today. Money flow is active and scattered. Large cap earnings week this week. And that's pretty much it. So with that being said, guys, we got about 7 minutes here until the market opens. STFS, what's STFS? Yeah, I saw this STFS. I saw James trading this. This could be a potential one too. There's a lot of plays today, man. Seriously. SKHY is an oil and gas play, so I'm not really interested in oil and gas plays. AMIX. Yeah, I mean AMIX, STFX, AMIX, STFX on watch as well. So there's a lot of plays today, man. I mean, like I said, as soon as the market starts to rebound a little bit, we're going to see a lot more of this action. So from what I'm seeing right now, we're getting a pretty active market cycle. A lot of plays, a lot of moves, a lot of opportunities. So goal is going to be the same thing as always. Take it slow, stick to the process, wait for things to set up, and take it from there. So with that being said, I'll pass the baton over here to Steve, and we'll get started live trading here in the next 5 to 6 minutes.
Cool, sounds good. So I want to go over a couple things. A couple conversations I had and some really good questions from some newer members, and I thought it'd be nice to share here. So first of all, we had a question, I should say, in a group chat. Really good question. The member was just, newer and asking about his setting up his max daily loss. Props to him for working on setting that up. He's just getting started with Cobra, but he was asking, about the kind of sizing he should use and all that kind of stuff. And he asked if he should use his max daily or max per share to stop him out of a trade. And, those of you that have been here a while know the answer to that, but I just want to reiterate that we are using hard market stops. We're planning our trades. This kind of max daily loss and max per trade is like the airbag. It's to keep you safe from some kind of disaster. But your stop loss is just like your seatbelt. It's just for your everyday fender bender. You don't want to get into any big trouble with it, so you've always got that on. If you were to have, let's say, move your stops completely out of the way, go crazy, revenge trade, then no matter what you did, you wouldn't have control. Hopefully, you'd have that max day loss in place, which would stop you from doing something that your future self will regret, right? Or, God forbid, your power went out or something like that, and you didn't have a stop on. So anyways, we use our stops for our standard day-to-day trades. They're on every trade. The max daily is just above that for that extra security. Cool. So I want to talk also, I'm not going to mention this member's name, really great guy. We chat once in a while, and he just said yesterday that, hey, and I think there's a good lesson in here. He said he wanted to say that we've helped him with risk management tremendously. He went from green pre-market to red yesterday, walked away with 0 issues. A year ago, he says he'd still be at his desk, sweating, taking trash trades, taking bad setups, trying to get green again. So he says that hearing Alex and hearing the live trades, hearing us out loud about risk management and walking away and all that kind of stuff and shutting it down helped him a lot. And I just want to remind you guys that we've got the discipline workshop. We properly plan all of our trades. So that's what it's all about. If you guys, we've all been there. The reason I created the discipline workshop was for exactly that reason, because I had those same issues, and I'm still not perfect, right? Nobody's 100% perfect 100% of the time. But yeah, that's what it's for. We're a community. We're all here to help you. If you've got a tab group, that's what they're for. We've got the discipline workshop. That's what they're for. Our goal here is to make sure that you guys are properly planning each trade and not just kind of trading like a cowboy and deciding when you stop or when you trade. You decide when you stop or trade based on your plan, right? So anyways, that's that. We got a couple minutes left. And also, I'm just going to share this real quick. Discipline workshop info. It's here on the webinars channel. Cool. So got a couple minutes. I want to share something kind of fun that I did. I created a graphic. I thought it'd be kind of fun to see how this worked out. I created a graphic. One sec. Created a graphic on the. Just loading it up here. One sec. I created a graphic on the roadmap. So let me pull it up real quick. Here it is. I got a slow internet here, so it's a second to load. Sorry, guys. So anyways, we give out the 30-day roadmap to everybody who's new. You've got it from a chat from myself, James and Harry and myself in a group chat. You get it in the channels when you first join and you're welcomed in. And the roadmap, if this thing ever finishes loading and shares. Yeah, I know, man. Only when I need it. If I don't need it, it won't happen. So anyways, it's trying to load. There's a graphic on it. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to create a graphic on the 30-day roadmap. So whenever it loads, you guys will be able to see the graphic. But I think it's kind of good to see, instead of just reading each point, you could kind of see the 7 steps. There it is. Okay, it works. Before the opening bell. Yeah, exactly. Good old-fashioned Aussie internet. That's exactly right, Tubes. So anyways, here's the graphic. I thought it'd be kind of fun. I don't know, maybe I'll start giving it out in the messages that I send out, but on top of the roadmap that's also attached in that link above. But I thought it'd be kind of fun to kind of visually see your steps. I don't mind all the questions, but a lot of the questions when you guys are brand new are covered here. Key is get through these steps, onboarding, live streams. You guys are here. That's great. Educational videos, broker and paper trading, all your options. Then, of course, discipline workshop, mentoring support, membership stuff, and everything is covered here. If you guys need any help with any of that, feel free to reach out or just check your DM. All that stuff's already in your DM. But yeah, I'll hand it back over. Hopefully this is helpful, and we'll see how the market goes.
Yep, sounds good. So we're gonna get started live trading here. I'm gonna end the stream on YouTube, get to MIC members. As you can see, SKHY going green, and SanDisk is already up $40 a share on that. So right idea, and we'll get started trading here now.